So I've flown Cathay many times already, for like almost 2 decades by now, hence I definitely know a thing or two about this airline. I was very fortunate that most of my Cathay experiences were in their business class. Over this time, I've seen their rise and fall, and potentially rising again. They even managed to sneak back into the top 5 ranking of Skytrax, and the airlines were super happy about it. I mean, I would too, given how lackluster the product is nowadays, but it wasn't always like that. Now in this video, I want to show you everything that is still good about its business class product. What are the things that they do exceptionally well and the things that they don't pay too much attention to anymore. Cathay business class seats largely remain the same since the introduction in the early 2010s, even though the reverse herringbone seats were already around, used by US Airways for example. It was Cathay that made it popular among flyers. The airline was already one of the world-renowned airlines back then, and other airlines were watching, and eventually these seats become today's standard. The reverse herringbone seats are not the only business class seats Cathay has though. There are also these whatever you call them, and also the short-haul narrow-body ones as shown here in the A321s. Now I haven't flown this particular one yet, but it's safe to say that these are really just good for short-haul flights. Anyhow, most of you will be more interested in the long-haul ones. So let's talk about these not-so-good ones first. It wasn't my choice to fly these seats. I was Qatar'd, or Cathay'd I should say. I've originally booked their typical reverse herringbone seats from Tokyo to Hong Kong and from Seoul to Hong Kong, all within the past 6 months. Cathay usually reserves their nice business class seats for popular long and medium haul destinations, including Tokyo and Seoul, but not as of late. You see, Cathay had to lease out many of their nice and shiny planes out during the world events era, some of which are with Qatar right now. Funny, I mentioned this airline twice already in this video. But anyhow, Cathay is not able to keep up to the pent-up demand nowadays and have less planes to run its operation. So this is how I got stuck with these seats for these 2 flights. Well, since I'm here, let's take a look at these seats, because you will most likely experience these seats if you fly Cathay enough. I'm not gonna be like, this is the lights, this is the table. I'm sure you reckon everything here. If your luck isn't running out, you may even have an empty seat beside you, and in that case, it's actually not too bad, especially during the recline position. It was acceptable for a nap. So where do you find these recliner business class seats? Mostly on the A330s though, not all of them, but many of the A330s do. Even on some of the 777s. Yes, you heard that right, even on some of the 777s. So pay careful attention to their seats when you're booking your flights. So that's that. Now let's come back to the standard business class seats. These seats are in all of their long-haul wide-body planes, their A330s, A350s, and 777s. Cathay really just have 4 types of planes nowadays, including the narrow-body A321s, which I've shown you much earlier. These seats you see here have largely stayed the same since the inception, with the newer ones looking newer I guess, with some minor differences in the storage space, no big deal. I've flown these seats crossing the Pacific multiple times. I can tell you with full honesty that despite looking a little dated, this bed is still one of the better ones when it comes to lie-flat business class seats, mainly because of the space you have. Now, because the IFE screen can be folded, that leaves you with plenty of vertical space for your legs. Many seats nowadays don't have this luxury, and you risk hurting your shin while you're tossing and turning. I'm a victim of this, I would know, so this business class seat is much appreciated, but yes, you could definitely use some makeover. So that's the different types of hard products. Now let's change gear a little, coming back to the ground and talk about their lounges. Cathay has some of the world's best lounges in its network. There are only about 10 airlines that have a sizable network of lounges outside of their hub cities, and even fewer with a high consistency of standard. And you'll be glad to know that Cathay is part of this exclusive club. I've made separate walkthrough videos of some of these lounges. I'll put the links in the description box below if you're interested. But yeah, Cathay lounges are always a treat, literally all of them. They have beautiful interior design, good amounts of real estate, and amazing food, especially from the noodle bar. If you're departing from an airport with a Cathay lounge and you have access to it, you'll be doing yourself a great disservice if you didn't visit one few hours before your flight. So Cathay really nailed the lounge experience. Even Singapore Airlines have to take a step back. I'll talk about SQ next time, but just know that Cathay's lounges can only be rivaled by a few airlines, one of which is Qatar. Gosh, this is like the 3rd time I mentioned them already today. Great plug for them I guess. But anyhow, all this talking was just about their business class lounges only. Cathay also has a few first class lounges, and those were simply beyond this league. I'll leave this for future discussion. Alright, back to the air. 2 things that have more or less stayed consistently decent are the amenity kits and the catering. For a long time, Cathay offered amenity kits that have its own name on them. And sometime in the second half of 2010s, Cathay started partnering with this brand Bamford, even until this day. And I think I mispronounced that name. But they are very generous with what they offered in the kits. Over the years, I've even collected quite a few different designs. Good stuff there. Now when it comes to the catering, starting with their menu, literally their menu, I've seen them using traditional folder-like menu to downright newspaper style, and now they're using this. Anyway, interesting to see the differences over the years. And what about their food? Well, I don't think the onboard catering was bad. In fact, I do think they're slightly better than most Asian airlines. But I just don't think they have dishes that are memorable to me. Unlike Singapore Airlines' famous satay and lobster thermidor, those are truly iconically delicious. But nope, Cathay doesn't have any of these. All they have are just some decent food. That's not exactly a bad thing, but after raving so much about their lounges and how good their food are, especially from the noodle bar, I think I would expect more from the onboard catering. But the food is fine, they taste alright, just not as memorable. And the same can be said about their customer service. Even though it is up to standard, just not very personable. Now before we land, I'll mention one last thing that I thought has always impressed me. Their pillows. I don't know why, but they have some of the best pillows out there, and I love the blankets, or duvet if you want to be fancy. They have always been so comfy. Really want to take one home with me next time. Or have I? But anyway, moving forward, Cathay has an uphill battle if they want to remain in the top 5 airlines of the world. I'm not debating the credibility of the ranking system, but personally, as of now, I'm not quite convinced Cathay has earned its top 5 spot yet. If you look at the other 4 airlines, they all have really good products, all the way from the economy to first class, which Cathay has barely restarted. Just a few routes have restarted the first class service. Until Cathay can fully restore their first class network, this 5th place may be better suited for another airline. And you can tell me in the comment section below which other airline deserves to take Cathay's place. But is Cathay a top 10 material? Yes it is, but there's still some work to be done if Cathay doesn't want to be relegated. Wait, is that a soccer term? I mean football. Firstly, the airline needs to get the planes back and stop downgrading and changing aircrafts. It's no fun when you're expecting this, but getting this. We seriously don't need another airline joining Turkish Airlines and Qatar. 4th time plugging Qatar now. Secondly, while the seats are still comfortable, they are way overdue for a refresh. Thankfully, their new business class seats has been announced and will soon join the fleet within a year or 2. By the time you're watching this, it may already be the case. And finally, Cathay has decided to bring even better lounges experience to passengers in Hong Kong airports, enhancing its already amazing lounge products. With all these plans in place, I'm 100% positive Cathay will be able to not only remain in the top 10, but also decidedly in the top 5. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I will be making this type of complex review once a month along with other types of video. So if you like the sound of it, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. Man, I've shot so much content and I can't wait to share them with you. And also, if you want to follow me on the socials, I'll put all the links in the description box below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.